Hello, this is Drew Morgan, and welcome to my podcast. My piece that I chose to talk about is Then the Lord Answered Job Out of the Whirlwind, Plate 13 from the Book of Job. This painting is an engraving with dry point on chine colle. The artist of this painting is William Blake, who is a British man who lived from 1757 to 1827. William Blake was a poet, a paintmaker, and a printmaker, known for his visionary imagination, nonconformist religious beliefs, and innovative printmaking techniques. To get us all caught up to speed on the story of Job, Job was a wealthy and devout man who lived a righteous life. To test his faith, God allows Satan to take away Job's wealth, health, and family. Despite intense suffering and questioning, Job never curses God. He wrestles deeply with the reason for his pain and argues with his friends who insist he must have sinned. Eventually, God responds, not with answers, but by revealing the vastness of divine wisdom and power. Humbled, Job accepts he may never understand God's ways. In the end, Job's fortunes are restored, and he is blessed with even greater prosperity. The story of Job is one of the most powerful examples in the Bible of enduring faith through unimaginable hardship. Even as everything in his life seems to fall apart, his health, his family, and his wealth, Job never completely let go of his belief in something greater than himself. And that story, while ancient, still speaks to something deeply powerful: the ability of faith to carry us through pain, confusion, and suffering. It's that same strength, that same resilience that modern researchers are now beginning to recognize when they study the impact of religion on both mental and physical health. So as we shift from Job's story to today's world, let's explore how religious faith can offer comfort, clarity, and even measurable benefits to people facing their own storms. In other words, let's explore how following religion is very beneficial to us humans. Starting off, I'm going to dive into how religion can help people's mental health with the research to back it. One of the most comprehensive reviews on this topic was published in Depression Research and Treatment in 2012. Researchers analyzed over 400 studies and found that people who identified as religious or spiritual consistently reported fewer symptoms of depression, lower anxiety, and greater emotional well-being. The authors also noted that religious beliefs often gave people a sense of purpose and control, especially during life's toughest moments. Then there's research from Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health, which looked at the long-term health data and found that regular attendance at religious services, we're talking about going at least once a week, was associated with significantly higher life satisfaction and much lower risk of death from suicide, drug overdose, or alcoholism. These are what researchers call death to despair, and faith seems to be a powerful buffer against them. Social support is another huge factor. A study published in Social Psychiatry and Psychiatric Epidemiology found that religious involvement helped older adults feel more socially integrated and less lonely. When you think about the structure of most faith communities, the weekly gatherings, the shared rituals, the check-ins, it makes sense. That sense of belonging can be a literal lifesaver, especially for people who might otherwise feel isolated. Beyond that, religion often provides people with a sense of purpose, something deeper to live for. In a 2015 study published in the American Journal of Psychiatry, researchers found that those with strong religious or spiritual beliefs were more likely to have meaning and direction in life, which is strongly correlated with better mental health outcomes, like lower stress and improved resilience. And finally, a powerful study published in Jama Psychiatry in 2016 tracked nearly 90,000 women over 15 years. The researchers discovered that women who attended religious services at least once a week were 5 times less likely to die by suicide than those who never attended. That's a staggering difference, and it really speaks to the protective role that faith can play in someone's life. So when we talk about religion and mental health, we're not just talking about personal feelings or anecdotes. We're talking about evidence-based benefits that show up across large populations. Faith, in many cases, isn't just spiritual, it's medicinal. So now that we've talked about the mental health benefits of religion, let's turn to the physical side. Interestingly, science shows that religious practice doesn't just uplift the mind, it can also influence the body in some surprising ways. As mentioned earlier, Harvard's T.H. Chan School of Public Health researchers found that people who attended religious services at least once a week were significantly less likely to die from deaths of despair, meaning suicide, drug overdose, and alcohol-related illnesses. This study shows how both mental and physical benefits This study shows both mental and physical benefits, as it shows how religion pushes people away from harmful habits. Now, why would attending services have such a strong protective effect? Well, the researchers believe it's not just about belief. It's about the community, structure, and purpose that religious life can provide. Community support plays a huge role. When you're a part of a faith community, you're less likely to feel isolated, and isolation is a major risk factor for despair. Religion also offers a sense of meaning and hope. In the face of hardship, having a framework that tells you life has purpose can make all the difference. And finally, religious teachings can often offer healthier coping strategies like prayer, meditation, and reaching out for help, rather than turning to self-destructive behaviors. In other words, faith communities aren't just places for worship, they're lifelines, offering connection, stability, and resilience during life's hardest moments. A major study published in Jama Internal Medicine tracked over 75,000 women for 16 years and found that those who attended religious services at least once a week had a 33% lower risk of dying compared to non-attenders. Researchers believe that the combination of social support, healthier habits, lower stress, and greater purpose helps explain why faith communities seem to offer support longer, healthier lives. A study published in Psychoneuroendocrinology found that people who regularly engage in spiritual practices like prayer, meditation, or religious reflection have lower levels of inflammation in their bodies. The reason, you may ask, is these practices lower stress, which help keep cortisol levels, the body's main hormone, in a healthy range. The main stress hormone, Since high cortisol over time drives chronic inflammation, calming the mind through spirituality literally helps protect the body on a biological level. So it's not just about feeling more peaceful. These spiritual habits are creating real, measurable health benefits deep inside the body, helping the immune system function better and lowering risk of serious diseases. Another 2011 study in the Journal of Behavioral Medicine found that people who were involved in religious practices had lower blood pressure and lower rates of hypertension, even after adjusting for factors like age and lifestyle. The key reasons? Well, again, lower stress levels from prayer and rituals help reduce the strain on the heart, and religious communities often encourage healthier habits, such as better diets, less smoking, and strong social ties, all of which protect cardiovascular health. All this adds up to a simple but powerful truth. Religion and spirituality aren't just about the soul, they affect the whole person. From blood pressure to the immune system to overall longevity, the evidence is growing that faith can support a better physical health in deeply meaningful ways. So when we take a step back and really consider all of this, it becomes clear that religion and spirituality are more than just about belief. They're deeply intertwined with human health and well-being. We've seen how faith can offer powerful mental health support, reducing depression, helping people cope with stress, fostering social connection, and giving a sense of meaning during life's hardest moments. But the impact doesn't stop there. The physical benefits are just as compelling. Lower blood pressure, improved immune function, reduced inflammation, and even a lower risk of dying from preventable causes. What's especially fascinating is that these effects aren't just coming from one practice or belief, but from a combination of things: community support, healthy behaviors, structured routines, inner peace, and a sense of purpose that anchors people throughout life's ups and downs. Whether it's through weekly worship, a daily prayer, meditation, or simply just being a part of a faith community, the protective power of religion reaches into every part of life: body, mind, and spirit. Of course, religion is a personal journey, and what works for one person might not work for another. But the research makes one thing clear: for many, faith isn't just comforting, it's genuinely life-enhancing. And maybe that's the most powerful takeaway of all.